Maggie and the Moms, sponsored by Tampa General Hospital and USF Health. Welcome to Maggie and the Moms, where we celebrate but never sugarcoat parenting. On our panel today, we welcome Sarah Davison, known professionally as the divorce coach. She's an author and mother to a teen boy. Margaret Zakarian is a producer, entrepreneur, and the president of Zakarian Hospitality. She has 3 children. And Natasha Prose, a mother of 2, who shares her parenting adventures in Prose and Company. Welcome, welcome, ladies. So good to have you here.
Nice to be here.
All right, so we start with a question that they are posing specifically in France. Should it be illegal to post embarrassing photos of your children on social media? If this law passes, basically a judge could intervene to decide whether it's okay if a photo of a child gets posted. I don't know your feelings on this, but we'll start with you, Natasha.
So I don't know if illegal is the right, way to go, but I definitely think it shines a light on this is an important topic. I know my son, my now 12-year-old, asked me about a year ago if I would ask for permission before posting any pictures of him, and I happily obliged because, he's at that age, and I should be asking for permission. So yes, I think it's an important thing to have discussed. I don't know about legal charges, but
where are you on it?
I mean, I agree. I think there's a lot of other things where there should be legal charges in terms of parenting, and this is maybe not one of them that we need to push harder on, but I agree 100%. I ask for permission before posting anything, and even if I have a misstep, then I take it right down. I just really respecting their wishes. Yes, it's super important.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think it's very difficult to have something that's illegal when embarrassing is a very difficult term to quantify, because what's embarrassing, if I posted a picture of my son when he was little, I think that was super cute, and maybe when he was 4 or 5 he might agree with me, but now he's 14, he definitely wouldn't want that out there. So I think it's very difficult to make something illegal with such a sort of wishy-washy word like that. But I definitely think respecting boundaries is key, and I actually never post my son on any of my feeds apart from my friendship ones, my Facebook friends group.
Well, that's the same with me. I have a personal Instagram and I post photos of my children there for family and friends. But when I started working here and started a public Instagram 2 years ago, my husband and I actually sat down and had this conversation. How much of our children do we want to share publicly? And the answer that we came to was 0.
Yeah.
There are 0 photos of my kids on my public. There's a few where you see the back of their heads.
Yes.
But, and basically it's just because it's easier to have a blanket policy, not because I think it's not okay to show, your kids sometimes, but for us it's just easier, it takes the guesswork out. What I think is fine today, because obviously when you're about to post, you think it's fine and adorable, but what if in a couple of years I have a change of heart, or I'm not so sure, or they don't like it? I would just rather simplify the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's working. It's hard.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard for sure.
Tough.
As a
you're
family
proud.
blogger, it's definitely hard. And I definitely felt a little guilty, that, oh gosh, did I overshare? Have I, stepped on his toes before? And now I'm certainly more mindful, and we have a conversation about it and ask for permission. But I think, that's huge. Definitely, let's make sure the kids are okay with it.
Amen to that. That is the message. All right, we're going to spin the wheel, lady, and see what comes up first in our wheel of mom topics. Our first one up for debate is talk to me. Okay, so this was interesting. I sent you the article in the Washington Post. It has been found by psychologists that nighttime, we all have teenagers, is the best time to talk to your teens. Like right when you're like exhausted, want to go to bed, your teens want to open up and be chatty. Yeah. Revelatory for me, because I'm like, when I'm ready for bed, I'm ready for bed. I don't want to talk to my kids at that point. What did you glean from it?
Well, I think it's so true. At first, I thought it was a tactic to delay going to bed, but now I actually think it's when we have less distractions. I suppose, like I'm definitely not on my phone that time of night. And he knows that he can call an end to that conversation as well by saying, Mummy, I'm tired. Now I need to get up for school. And I'll be, oh, okay, great. So I'll leave. So it's not one of those conversations he's going to be dragged into for a long period of time. So I think if they're controlling it, and also if they're worried about things, we can reassure them before they go to sleep. And I think that comfort, especially from a mom, is just what they need sometimes at night, because during the day they don't want to talk to us, but at night, calm them down. I think that makes it easier for them.
I think you hit it on the head that they're in control of the conversation, and they found that parents at night tend to listen more rather than ask more, and teens like that because they're all about autonomy. Right?
Maybe because we're just more tired.
Or we're like, just talk, get it off your chest, go. And they,
I think that's
like
true.
That.
I think it's true for sure.
Do you find your kids open up at night more?
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, I will relish any opportunity that my kid asks to talk to me or asks my opinion about something. Doesn't happen often, but yeah, I definitely would jump on it and try to you know, zip it and not interject my opinion, or although I really want to, you know. But
so if you're tired, stay awake. It's worth it. Listen to them. Sometimes they just need to get it off their chest. So
Totally.
all right, spin number 2 on the wheel of mom topics. Whit, producer Whit, how much time do I have left? What would you do? Okay, I don't think we have time for this one, so I'm going to spin again because we don't have that much time. I want hopefully a quick one. Manners matter. I like this one. Okay, this is a good one. All right, this one was inspired by your son.
Okay.
This is
I hope
fun.
in a good way, Maggie.
So our sons were at a church event, and I was volunteering. And George, her 8-year-old, came up, and I was saying hello, and I introduced him to my son, Mikey, and George put out his hand and said, "Nice to meet you." And I'm like, that is a man. That is a young man, and so polite. So, mamas, what manners or what practice do you name one that you try to instill because it's good manners?
I think being kind is really important, and I think it gets missed a lot when in kids' education these days. I think being kind to other people, being thoughtful, or maybe opening a door. If a teacher at school is struggling with something, I know at my son's school they struggle with the text sometimes, and he's the first one out his seat to help them. I think just being kind really makes a difference and helps other people around them.
You have a teen boy.
Yes.
Do you find, because it's all about being cool and not, you know, making a fool of yourself in front of your friends, is it harder to be mindful of manners for a teen boy, would you say?
I think so. I think they struggle sometimes because they don't want to stand out. You know, my son's at the stage where he doesn't want people to look at him. He doesn't want to be the one that's always going to help. But actually, you know, when he does it, the recognition, and it makes you feel good, doesn't it? It's not like when you're kind to someone, you get so much more back than maybe even you're giving.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, so we know that you teach them to shake hands. What else?
Yes. Well, I'm big when we're in a restaurant, when we leave the table, to make sure everyone looks at their place and like pushes in their chair and puts their napkin nicely. I mean, you can't just like leave a mess behind you. So we're mindful of that. I try to teach that.
That's a
good
great one.
Yeah. We are teaching the boys to open the doors for people. They race to open the door for mom. My husband's always opening the door for me. So the boys now race to see who's going to be the first one to open mom's door. So anywhere we go anywhere, they open the doors, you know, at the grocery store. So that's, you know, the big one for us.
Chivalry is not dead.
It's right.
Yes.
No, I'm raising little husbands. I'm raising husbands.
So something, and I give my husband full credit for this one. Every season, you know, my son is always playing sports. After every single game, he now on his own goes and says, "Thank you, coach."
That's a
After
great one.
every single game, because a lot of these coaches, all of them in my son's case, are volunteers. They work so hard, and they probably just get from the parents, "Why didn't you put my kid in? I'm not happy with the playtime." How about just "Thank you, coach"?
Yeah.
It's kind.
That's-
It's all about
that's-
being kind. Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Ladies, thank you. We're on time, but I loved having you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Oh, my
you.
pleasure. And Sarah is going to stick around. We're going to have a session with the divorce coach to tell us how to do some spring cleaning for our soul.